Did you know there's a site where you can not only learn more about the Constitution, but find others that are interested in reading and studying the Constitution as well? Well, there is, and you can join it absolutely free. But before I tell you how, let me tell you a little story. See, like most of you, I went to public school. And I learned very little about what the Constitution actually says. Oh, I learned about 1776 and 1787 and the three branches of government, but I didn't really learn what the Constitution says or how it can be used to protect my rights. And I really didn't care. Then about 10 or so years ago, I took the challenge and I actually sat down and I read the Constitution. And I found it interesting. I found it engaging. I read more. I read the Federalist and Anti-Federalist papers. I became very interested in this document. But I also felt very alone. You see, when I'd go to outings with friends and family, it seemed like I'm the only one that had a clue what the Constitution said or even cared. It was very lonely. Then back in 2014, I had this idea. Why don't people study the Constitution the way my friends and I would study the Bible? Sit down in small groups, read it, study it, discuss it, debate it, become familiar with it. Thus was the beginning of the Constitution study. And for 5 years, I worked with others to study the Constitution, to get to know it better. It led me to writing a book, to doing speaking engagements, to doing videos and articles. And it's been very engaging and really worthwhile. And some of the best times are when I meet people that are as interested as I am. People that have found the Constitution study and learned something and shared that experience. Or people that meet me and enjoy the work and encourage me for the work that I do. It's really enlightening. Those are the days that really feel good. But there are a lot of days when I feel all alone. Just one man out in the wilderness screaming at the storm with no one to listen and no one to care. And I think that's the way a lot of us feel. We know something is wrong. We think we have an idea of what could help, but we feel all alone. Then last year, Facebook, they disabled the Constitution study. I'm not allowed to even look at Facebook anymore. How long before Twitter and YouTube and other social media do the same thing? And I felt alone. I had over 1,000 followers on Facebook. Now that, in the big scheme of things, that's not a lot, but those were 1,000 people that I would interact with, that listened to what I have to say and would occasionally let me know what they were thinking. And that was gone. And it got me thinking, how many people would be willing to study, to get engaged, to stand up and defend their rights if they just knew they weren't alone? Well, enter the Constitution Scholars. I created the Constitution Scholars with two goals in mind. One was so that people who are interested in becoming scholars, in reading and studying the Constitution, would have a place to find each other. Find not only people across the country, but possibly in your state, in your community, but also to give them resources to help read and study and teach others. My other goal was to create a program with those who are really serious about becoming scholars of the Constitution, studying it and teaching others, would have a program that could help, where they could be mentored and taught not only what the Constitution says, but in techniques to teach better. How do we study the Constitution? What is the basis by which we come to our conclusions? And then how do we communicate them to others? So the Constitution Scholars is there for you to find resources, to find others, to share ideas, and you can join it absolutely free. So I thought I'd take a few minutes and give you a tour of the Constitution Scholars website and show you what you have access to by simply registering for your free account. When you head to the Constitution Scholars, you're taken to this homepage. You can watch this video again or scroll down and look at some of the features and capabilities that are part of membership in the Constitution Scholar. Now, if you ever run into any problems or you have any questions, you can always go to the help. You can submit a ticket. You can then go in and check on the status of your tickets and let us know if there's a problem. And we'll be more than happy to work out whatever we can for that. And obviously, the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is to register. That's really simple. We're just going to go to the login page. So when you go to the login page, if you do not already have an account, simply click one of the registration links. and you'll be sent to the registration page. We ask you for simple information: name, email address, set your password. If you'd like, you can include a website or some biographical information. This becomes part of your profile. Please remember, once you have submitted your form, check your email. You will get an email with an activation link. Your account will not be enabled until you've clicked that activation link. So please, check your email, maybe your spam folder, your junk folder for that activation email, in addition to the welcome email. Once you click the activation email, your account is valid. Once you have an account, you can simply log in. I will use my test account because I want to show you some things that you would have not as an admin level user as I am. Once you log in, you're sent to your profile page. As you see, you have a nice little cover art you can do. You can put your picture in there. I do request, I recommend that you put your picture in there. This is meant to be a community, and there's something about seeing a picture of a person rather than an avatar or just a blank page here that really makes a difference, I think, when we're interacting with people. You'll also see I have some badges over here that I will talk about in a minute. I scroll down a little bit and you'll see this is the About page. This is my profile. This is also where I can edit my profile that I created when I registered. I'm going to talk about groups in a minute. You have a blog. So part of this is your ability to communicate with others. You can start your own blog here. We have a simple request. Our rules are very simple for all information you post on Constitution Scholars. It must be legal, it must be clean, and it must be about a constitution, either of the United States or of the several states, or something related to that. We're not looking for political grandstanding. We're not looking for questions about, your grandmother's apple pie recipe. If it's not offensive, I won't kill it, but really we want to focus on the Constitution study and helping each other understand the constitutions. Now, there's also messages. Again, this is meant as a community, and I'll show you in a moment how you will find other members that you can connect with and either send messages back and forth, or, as you see over here, we have a friends system. So you can become online friends with other people you interact with regularly, people that you want to keep track of. Voila, you have your friend. You send a friend request, you answer a friend request, you're linked as friends in the system. I skipped over this notifications. This notification tells you what's been going on. So you can just go to your profile and you can see, hey, okay, there was a new post on a wall that I'm part of. You can see where I've been playing with the groups. All of that's in here. You have some settings. So you have things like changing your name, changing your password, setting your privacy. Now, my main account is set up so that everyone can see it. And this is what I would hope most people will do. But not everybody wants to do that. So, for example, my test account is set so that only I can see it. It doesn't appear in any of the other lists or of group members. It's hidden. And that's because it's a test account. Now, I hope everyone else here will be viewable to everybody, or at least friends and group members, so that we can find each other and engage with each other. And again, are you going to hide your profile from group directories and search results? Again, my test account I have set to yes. I hope you don't do that. But if you want to, that's okay too. And if for some reason you just decide you don't like the Constitution Scholars, well, you can always just go in, delete the account. Now, within this is an event system. And what I'm trying to do is not only have scholar-wide events, but group events where groups in different regions can set up their own events and find out what's going on and help engage. Obviously, if this event is being coordinated through the Constitution Scholars, we can have bookings. So you can look at any bookings you have, any events you've created, directions to those events, transactions that are, if we have any charged events, which I'm not really planning on, but all that information is under your events. And we have a store. If you go to the shop link and you go to our store and you're in the middle of looking at something and put it in your cart and forget it's there, you can always come back to your profile and view your cart. Now, let's talk about groups, because that's the most powerful part of the community on the Constitution Scholars. If you'll notice, it says here under my test name, John Doe, my primary account is everyone. Everyone is put into the everyone group. It's kind of self-explanatory, but as soon as you're registered, you're put into the everyone group. And you'll see I'm a member of 2 more groups, and I've got these little icons over here telling me these are the pictures for the groups that I'm a member of. So let's take a look at one of the groups. Here's the everyone group. And you'll see when I click on the everyone group, what do I have? Well, there's a description, right? This is the place where everyone shows up and is invited to explore and check things out and maybe look for other groups to become a part of. And then right below that are all the members. Now, most people have left their default images, and I'm going to ask them to put in a cover art or a picture or something to be a little more engaging. But again, they left them blank. We're just getting started. So these are where you can find members. Well, I got to search through everyone. Well, hang on just a second, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Each group has its own discussion. So as you see, I've already posted a message that says asking people to put a photo in their profile so that it'd be easier to identify and easier to see. And each group also has a set of events. And I'm still building this system. It's been a little tricky, but the idea is, hey, events that are scholar-wide, they are here. Every group has its own discussions and has its own events. Now, if I go back to my user profile and I look at my groups, you'll see I'm also a member of the Tennessee group. I live in Tennessee. So there is a group for each of the 50 states. So I encourage you all, please join the group for your state. Currently, appears I'm the only one that's joined the group. I hope that changes very quickly. But this is where we could have discussions about what is going on in our state. For example, I'm working on a meeting with my state rep and my state senator to discuss some upcoming issues. And once I've kind of set an agenda, I want to put that in this group and let people know, hey, I'm going to meet with these people. Here's my agenda, and give people a chance to get involved and discuss. And as I said, every group has a set of events. So I want to put events in here that would be relevant to the state of Tennessee. For example, do you have your own Constitution study class? Are you teaching some of the classes or doing your own studies? I'd love to put them in your state's events calendar so that other people can find it. So we can not only find members, but we can find things to do and things to engage in to be part of the solution, not simply keyboard warriors. One more time, I'm going to go back to my user profile and I'm going to look at my groups, and you'll see there's another group I'm a part of. It's called the Apprentice group. The Constitution Scholar itself is free. There is no charge, but there is an education program within the group that's designed to take people who want to really seriously work at becoming better scholars, and that is a paid membership. Each level of paid membership has its own group, and I'll discuss the paid membership and what's included shortly, but you'll see I have several people that are already joined the Apprentice, and these are people who are, in this case, learning to become better scholars. But we'll talk more about those in just a minute. Now, there are a couple other things that you would expect as part of the Scholar site. One is online classes. Now, when I do things like webinars or other events and I can get them recorded, I love to have them, edit them down, and create online classes for them. Now, as a member of the Constitution Scholars, you have access to recorded versions of every one of my webinars. When I do a webinar or anything like that, that's a free event that I can record, I will post it in here and you can watch it. So this is a great place to say, hey, you'll see, I've talked about red flag laws or freedom of speech and religion. All of those are available here. You can watch them. You can see the slides and be part of the process. I also have courses for the different paid membership levels. And because this account is an apprentice, I have access to one of these classes being the Constitution Primer. Now, the Constitution Primer is not a free class. You get it for free as an apprentice, or you can purchase it shortly through the shop if all you want is that. That one's still under development, but it's there so people can start seeing it. These courses are designed like you would any real course. In other words, the course has several lessons. There will be quizzes involved in these. When you complete the course, you'll get a certificate of completion. If you are homeschooling or using this as some sort of continuing education, that your proof of completion will be the certificate from the site. When you finish the course, not only will it be marked complete, but you will get a certificate of completion for your records. Now, in addition to classroom work, well, we need libraries. I mean, what good scholar doesn't have a library of resources that they can go to in order to enhance their study? So I've created some. The first is the reference library, which is open to everyone. All right? As soon as you register, you have access. And a lot of people ask me where I go when I'm researching an article or a video or trying to answer a question. Well, here are the links to the places I go the most. The Declaration or Constitution from the U.S. Archives. I'm still working on the constitutions of the several states. That will hopefully be up shortly. But you want to find the Federalist Papers, the Anti-Federalist Papers. What dictionaries do I use? Webster's Dictionary, Johnson's Dictionary, even the Free Legal Dictionary. And of course, last, I have the United States Code. If someone's referring to Title X of USC, you can actually go look it up yourself. All of that's here. And as I add resources that I start using, I will continue to update this. And again, you get this as part of being a member of the scholars, as being a Constitution scholar. Now, there's also the Everyone Library, right? As I said, when you register, you're part of the Everyone group. You get access to the Everyone Library. So let's say, hey, I want to read the Constitution in 30 days. This is not a download. This is more of a use library. So you can go in and read this book right here on the website. If I scroll up, if I go to a couple pages in, you'll see you can go in and you can read the book. In addition, this account is an apprentice. So there's an apprentice library. The different levels have access to different levels of library, and they start getting to books that are my books or books that I have permission to reproduce like this that are helpful for their level of engagement. Right? So an apprentice is getting started, and I always like to start with the Declaration of Independence because it sets the basis for the Constitution. So as an apprentice, you get that free. Now, if you don't want to be an apprentice, if you simply want a copy of the book, again, that is for sale. But as an apprentice level scholar, you get access to this library, and as you continue, you get access to more and more libraries with more and more resources. So let's talk a little bit about these paid memberships. I've hinted about them. I want to talk to them in detail. And again, you are not required to pay a membership fee. This is voluntary. So when I created this, the idea was I wanted everybody to have access to these resources. But I find people that are really interested in going farther, getting engaged, improving their skills. They want to become a better scholar. So I created these paid memberships that we can work with to help you progress on that journey. So once you've joined and you've looked around and you said, I really want to be a better scholar, I really want the opportunity, well, you can become an apprentice. Now, it's a little more involved than just coming here and looking at the apprentice group and joining the group. I'm already in this group, so I'm already part of it. But you'll see, this is for people who are looking to do more. It's the first step on the journey to becoming a real scholar. We will study not just the Constitution, but tips and techniques of how to study the original documents. How do I find these original documents? When I read them, how do I research them? How do I understand what they're saying? How do I draw an appropriate conclusion? And then how do I explain it to others? That's part of being an apprentice. An apprentice is a learner. Now, the apprentices, I'm trying to pair up with people who are farther along in the journey so that they have someone they can go to for advice, for assistance, for guidance, not simply to leave them all off on their own. Remember, this is designed to be a community. Now, the person who is most likely to be a mentor for an apprentice is a journeyman. See, as an apprentice, you are expected to learn. That's the role of an apprentice. But once you're ready to work on your own, once you've built up enough skill, then we want you to become a journeyman. That means you don't need constant hand-holding for everything you're working on. You are able to research and study on your own. You're able to communicate with others on your own. You still need help. You still need guidance. You still need a mentor, but you're more able to work on your own. So a journeyman is most likely to be paired up with a master to help mentor them, to help guide and inform the journeyman as they're progressing, as they're going out and engaging with other people, as they're involved in their journey. They still have someone to go to get assistance. And at this point, they're also ready to mentor someone new, an apprentice. Now you can click here this join group, but you don't actually join the group. You see the 3 levels of membership. If you request to join the group, you get this message that your request has been sent, but this request will be reviewed. This is true for all 3 levels. Because this is a paid membership, I want to make sure the people that are in these groups are really prepared. They're ready to engage. An apprentice, pretty much if they say they want to be an apprentice, they get to join being an apprentice. But a journeyman requires some commitment. So I would get a message that someone wants to be a journeyman. You've requested to join the group, at which point I would probably, if I haven't communicated with you before, we'd set up a call and we would talk about what you've done, where you are you really prepared for that journeyman level? At which point, if we agree, then I would send you to the shop, sign up for your membership. You'd be granted the level of journeyman, and I would begin looking for a master to mentor you. Speaking of masters, once you've progressed from being a journeyman, now we're looking at master scholars. These are people that not only are prepared to study and teach the details, not simply the Constitution, but the supporting documents, the supporting information. They are ready to help develop content for others. See, a journeyman may have a discussion with someone else, but a master may work with me on a book or a class or an event. There's someone that really is prepared to engage in their community. I expect masters to be hosting their own Constitution studies, to be engaged with their local and state government, to be engaged with their federal government, to be really looking to teach others, as well as to mentor journeymen. So just like with the others, before someone's allowed to become a master, we expect them to show proficiency and to submit to an interview where we'll make sure, A, are you ready? Do you have the skills? And B, are you prepared for the work that's involved? Now, how would you actually go about signing up for these memberships? Well, that all happens in the shop. So you head over to the shop tab, you get to the Constitution Study store, and you'll see there's several things here. For example, if you want to buy one of my books, digital, paperback, soon to be audio, you can come here and buy one of my books. I certainly would appreciate that. I've started a line of clothing and accessories, and I'm hoping this will expand over the near future. But this is merchandise that you can use both to advertise your status as a scholar, but to encourage others and share this information as well. And of course, this is where you would sign up for your memberships. Again, we have the 3 level of memberships. For each level, you select the options. So the apprentice level is $5 a month or $50 a year. You can do it either way. So you select your renewal frequency, and then you sign up, and you will, as you normally would, you give credit card information, and once that is processed, you'll become an apprentice. Very quick, very simple. Apprentices get access to the Apprentice Library. They also get the Apprentice courseware to help work through their apprenticeship. They also get a 5% discount in the store. Now, there are some limitations. The discount does not apply to memberships, and the discount does not apply to third-party products. So, for example, I will soon have classes from Institute on the Constitution that will be available on the shop. I'm not selling them. I'm linking to them, so I don't have control over those discounts. But my books, the merchandise, everything that I sell directly through here comes with a discount. After the Scholar, again, we have the Journeyman. It again is either monthly or annually. It is $10 a month or $100 a year. Again, they get access not only to the Apprentice Library, but the Journeyman Library. They get the Apprentice courseware and the Journeyman courseware, and they receive a 10% discount in the shop. Same rules apply. Discounts do not apply to memberships, and they do not apply to third-party products that I don't sell directly. After Journeyman, of course, we have the Master. Again, these are the Master Scholars. This is a significant investment in both time and obviously money. It is $50 a month or $500 a year. And because we're expecting so much of the Masters, because they are going out and teaching, they not only get access to the Master Library and to the Master courseware, they also have me as their mentor. Whereas an apprentice or a journeyman, you may be mentored by someone else in the group. The masters are all mentored by me personally. That means we have master events, we have one-on-one engagements to help grow their skill and grow the footprint of constitutional literacy within this nation. And as I said before, and I want to reiterate, simply because you sign up for the membership level that you want may not automatically mean you receive it. So if you were to sign up for a Master Scholar and I'd set up an interview and decided that, you know what, you're not really ready yet, maybe there's some work you need to do first, then I would refund your Master Scholarship. We'd leave you at one of the other levels to complete that work. And again, with a plan to progress you to the Master level. So that is my tour of the Constitution Scholars. I hope that you see value in what we're trying to do, and that you'll head over to constitutionscholars.com, register for your free account, and I will see you there.